In the Board Basics video, you learn more about how many public library responsibilities are placed in your trust. While handling those tasks, you'll make a lot of decisions. The most important decision you'll make is deciding who is best suited to be your community's library director. Ideally, the board's only employee will have a positive collaborative relationship with the board. He or she will work daily to fulfill the future vision we discussed in the last video.
The trustees are those who agree to make sure that the library is the comfortable and satisfying place that the patrons expect to find. That means that the trustees oversee the financial aspects, the physical plant, the materials that the patrons expect to find, in the sense that they give the director the wherewithal to concentrate on that, so that the director, who is their employee, can concentrate on making sure that the library is there for the patrons.
It's necessary to define and respect the scope of work for both the trustees and your library director. The director, with these guidelines and solid support from the board, is able to assign work and make decisions that in turn support the board and ensure excellent library service.
We do our best to encourage boards of directors to understand that a board of directors has a single employee, and that is the President and Chief Executive Officer, otherwise known more commonly as the library director. Now that means that the board respects the boundary and understands that the President and CEO is in the best position to hire, support, decide on salary increases for the staff, update the personnel manual on a regular basis, and, when necessary, to terminate a staff member. The board is so respectful of that boundary that they don't get involved in those personnel decisions. When we talk about the board's personnel responsibilities, we're actually talking, in essence, about one person. They manage the single individual that we're calling now President and CEO of the library, and then delegate to her the development of the staff.
There are many qualities that a board will want to have in a library director. Great library directors enthusiastically share the library's vision with staff, volunteers, and patrons. The best extend that reach to the overall community as well.
And you know, the librarian is being redefined from what we knew as a librarian. Again, you know, we kind of looked at the librarian as a person who stands behind a desk and stamps something and gives out the book. But librarians are so much more. And as they're being redefined, you know, they're also changing to meet the needs of patrons who are coming into the library. Librarians are educators in many senses of the word.
When hiring a director, I think one of the main attributes that I would look for is someone that is knowledgeable about the profession and is also incredibly passionate about the profession. A library director needs to feel a calling to be involved in libraries. It has to be someone who's going to be able to always have a vision of libraries, not just in the moment, but also for the future. A library director that is going to be a great library director is someone that is going to take into account all members of the community and is going to be able to develop a library that truly embraces the community.
When hiring your library director, you probably assumed that qualified candidates would have the required formal education in library science and would have experience working in libraries. Looking more closely at the director's scope of work, it becomes clear that the successful director will also be prepared to handle much more.
When you hire a library director, it is obviously important to make sure that you have somebody who has good professional knowledge and technical skills. But beyond that, you are hiring the chief executive officer for your organization. You're looking for somebody who understands accounting and budgeting and human relations. You're looking for somebody who understands strategic planning, public relations, marketing. You're looking for somebody who can network in the community. You're looking for somebody who can be a leader in the community. All of those things put together really add up to somebody who is worth a considerable amount of money. When you take the time to think about the fact that the library director is going to be the representative of your organization in the community that you're going to expect that person to deal not just with staff and library resources, but also with elected officials, with community organizations. You want somebody who can be a good public speaker, somebody who's passionate about library services, and that costs money.
The list of ideal qualifications for a library director continues to grow. Trustees also see the benefit of hiring a library director with knowledge of management, technology, and strong written communication skills.
Well, there's going to be a skill set that's going to be necessary, and I can address that. Obviously, being involved with library sciences, there also needs to be some experience possibly in management because of the interaction with the staff. I know that's something that's not covered or was not covered at one time when someone was studying library sciences. So management experience, I think, would go a long way to help a person. Separately, there's going to be competencies that you probably aren't going to be getting in a formal education that would come just innately for people. And that's going to be the ability to comfortably speak publicly, to be able to present yourself and your library in different settings using different media. There's going to be strong writing skills necessary because that would be one form of communication. Someone who is comfortable, say, speaking to the press, addressing municipalities, someone who is able to represent the library in anything, whether it be friends or a public function.
Mary, Kevin, and Lisa have identified many skills that distinguish a good director from a great director: a passion for the work, effective advocacy, public speaking, and community relations. Yes, you're looking for the best of the best. And without an attractive compensation package, you risk losing those candidates to other libraries or businesses that also seek a well-rounded professional.
The reason you want to have a competitive package for the director of your library is because you're competing not only with other libraries, but you're competing in the open marketplace for talented labor. I come from the commercial side of the world as opposed to the nonprofit or public service side. So it would not be unheard of for a librarian to be snatched up by a corporation, to be a research librarian, to be taken away by another library that had a better package. I believe that you always get what you pay for when it comes to talent. And this would especially apply to the director's role, because he or she is going to be leading that entire organization on the day-to-day running of it.
So far, you've hired the best director for your community's library, and you've communicated your expectations to him or her. By evaluating your director, you're able to continue that conversation in a constructive, motivating way.
We talk now not so much about evaluation, but supporting. And I'm glad you raised that issue, because a lot of trustees think our job is to, or one of our duties is to evaluate the library director. And we'd like to change that just slightly and say, no, your job is to give amazing, incredible support to the library director. Because if she is able to meet or exceed all of the annual goals that have been articulated, then it not only means that she's going to be successful, but it means that you are going to have that vibrant, thriving library that in turn leads to the creation of that idealized community that all of us want to see. So the library board does evaluation, but they do evaluation in the context of supporting, encouraging, and inspiring the library director, giving the library director feedback in terms of two areas. Number one, what is it that she does really, really well? What kind of behaviors do we want to encourage her to repeat? And then secondly, what are some specific examples of areas for improvement that an already outstanding library director can implement in order to make things even better than they are for everyone served by the library?
By giving your library director measurable goals and the support to achieve them, the board and the director will be able to continue working together for the benefit of the library and the community it serves.
It's absolutely essential that trustees evaluate their directors. The reason for this is that it's very difficult at times when you're a director to set goals for yourself that you can have people to measure it against. I think that library directors need the same sort of evaluation process that all other staff members receive, so that they have the opportunity to articulate what they've done, to set a vision for the future, and to be able to have measurable goals that they can use long term.
During this presentation, you've learned how to choose, support, evaluate, and motivate a great library director. By working together for the common good, the board and the director also create a great library.
A bookstore or a dentist or anything, or maybe a librarian.